I decided to give you a spring viewing of the garden. I'll try not to talk so much. This is our azalea, which was here when we moved in 42 years ago, being faithful as usual, blooming. We have a bunch of forget-me-nots around the garden. It's early-ish morning, so sun's going to be blocking a bunch of stuff. A little sitting area I have here with a half shade, which is cool. It's got lights under it. You can turn on at night. Poppies are going to be blooming. There's one in another area of the garden that I'll show you. The deck has to be resanded and finished. The grape hyacinths are all done. I'll be cutting those down, weed eating them so they can get their mojo on for a fall blooming of the grass and then a good bloom next spring. There's some bluebells of Scotland, or whatever they're called. They're blue and pink. Peony about to bloom. It's white. And right with the azalea, our Joseph's coat rose is going to be opening very soon. And a few more buds up here. I'll go into the shade a little bit. One of my many gazing globes. I've set the fountain up, so the birds are happy about that, now that it's spring. All this lush growth under the crabapple is called bog arum, A-R-U-M, and it dies down as soon as it starts to get warm, and by midsummer you don't even know it's there. And the elecampane, which is showing in the bright sun, is a nice herb, has stalks of flowers that are like mini sunflowers. And that has reseeded itself from an area over by the apple tree. It's been in for years and years. And I didn't get the blooms filmed. We had lovely pink blossoms from the weeping crabapple. Iris are about to open up, and I was gifted with some iris from my local friend in art group, Jan Brown. And one of them has a bud coming up, a stalk, so I'm looking forward to that. They're beautiful colors. I have mostly purples, so it's nice I'll be getting some other colors. And I'm just going to take a shortcut under the crabapple tree, so excuse the shaking of my hand here. This is like Swedish ivy, thrives in wet, moist. I had a lot of it when I had the pond. Moneywort is its actual name, and it'll have a yellow flower on it, in about a month or so. And it's all over. The bees don't really come to the flowers. It's just pretty, that's all. And here we have some comfrey, my never-ending comfrey that comes up from the root, and if you break the root, you're going to have 20 more. But I love it, and the bees absolutely adore these little blossoms. Here's the elecampane up close. I love the big leaves. It needs some moisture. The leaves do fine when it's hot, but they're gorgeous in the spring. Then they get a little ragged looking. And where the second pond, actually the pump used to be, is where pretty pink gazing globe is. And that's the second pond area, and again where the fountain is where our big pond was. It was a circulating 2-pond system, but got to be too much. Purple iris are about to open. And the privet hedge is growing all down the fence line. It's a float, but I use it as a gazing globe. And down here, some Dutch iris keep coming up every year, not my favorites. One of our first blooming poppies. I think it is the first blooming poppy. And then, I'm going to forget the name of it. It'll come to me, but this isn't perennial. Love the sunny orange blossoms. It comes in yellow too. Have some lavender and some sea lavender. Bird baths that need cleaning. My garden angel. She likes to blow in the wind a little. Got her down in San Luis Obispo with my sister-in-law. And walk down through the path here. I did some weeding, serious weeding last fall, and put down new bark. So it has helped to keep the weeds at bay. And our many bird feeders. More poppies. They'll be blooming soon. They bloom sporadically for, a good month or so until the heat really comes on. I see a big weed that needs pulling, but that'll happen later today, I hope. This is salad burnet, I should say. And one of the rootstock roses, when our yellow rose froze out years ago, that came up in its stead. Hello, bottle tree. Columbine is blooming everywhere in the garden. I love this. Purple, my favorite. More bog arum, nice fat dandelion, and some thyme. And we have valerian, which is the sort of spiky leaf plant. And I also have campanula, which are these stalks. They'll be blooming in another month. And there's a grassy weed needs pulling up. This is summer phlox, which will get quite tall. It's white. Need to break off the dead stalks. A lot more valerian. And the snail-eaten hollyhock that has wonderful bright red flowers, and it seems to be coming up year after year. But the snails like the leaves. And my original stand of comfrey, which is finding its way north towards the Rogue River. More bluebells, pink bells, and in between we have forget-me-nots. I'm going to clear the path a little. Then I have some wonderful, my mind is gone this morning. I'll think of it. Anyway, they're about through blossoming. More bog arum, and lots of bluebells blooming under the apple tree now, which I love. Oh, you know the name of this. My mind is gone. Anyway, those are red. These are white. You can just barely see the blossoms. Probably by the time I'm through videoing, I'll remember the name of it. It's a very simple name. But my mind is no longer simple. It's gone. Working my way out to the grass, the apple tree, more campanula that'll be blooming, poppies, leaving them a little bit. And Madison, our granddaughter's little fairy house, needs some cleaning out. This is part of the apple tree that was an old graft that fell off number of years ago. But bless its heart, as long as I have our tree people come and keep pruning this tree, which is over 100 years old, it keeps putting out Gravenstein apples. And we did have it nicely pruned last fall. I keep it as an umbrella for the shade garden. And that's a door I bought for $5 at a yard sale. Don't look at my t-shirt. Tim's Mickey Mouse phone. I love seeing this here. He's never out of my heart and mind, but it's fun to have these little visual reminders of him. He loved the garden, and he loved growing vegetables with his wife Amy. And they have a nice raised bed garden in Portland. And this is a nice stand of yarrow. Let's see if I can get my shadow out of here. And the aphid-eating bugs called downy leatherwings overwinter in this, and so I just don't have it mowed out. You just keep it to grow. They have white blossoms, and the yarrow has spread around the years and found its way into the grass, and I've just let it grow because it's such a beneficial plant. And our wind spinner, very light breeze this morning. And have lots of foxglove that'll be blooming again. One of my favorites. And tons of campanula. Canterbury bells, I guess some people call it. And just more tchotchkes and stuff. And then we have our peace rose under our bedroom window. Lavender, which will be blooming later, probably late May into June. And I have a milkweed coming up for about the 3rd year. Haven't had any monarchs come to it, but I'm hoping in the fall, which is when this will blossom, late summer to fall, that we might find some monarchs coming to lay some eggs on it. The caterpillars will only eat milkweed leaves for the monarch. And a pretty rose here, it's called America. It's sort of a coral color rose. This is a hops vine that just grows every year but doesn't put out any hops buds. It's just fun to have grow up on the trellis. And more columbine amongst the roses, a Pat Austin and a not Cecile Bruner, Gertrude Jekyll pink rose. It's so fragrant. It'll be blooming soon. More lavender, the hose pit, and save the best for last, underneath the wisteria, which is coming into full bloom. And it's really funny because it morphed back to the original rootstock, but it was this double ruffle blossom, which I think is the Chinese wisteria. I think it's Chinese, not Japanese. And then this is the wisteria that everybody's used to seeing with the long plumes of flowers. It's not totally in bloom yet, but as you can see, here are buds. But it's really nice. And this is gracewort, known as lithospermum. It loves the shade, it loves water. We've had so much rain this winter that it's really doing nicely. More campanula. And here we have Persephone, which is not a flower, but the name of the statue. I'm going to get a distance view now of this, which is our Korean lilac. It's a late bloomer. You can see buds are just starting to form, but it'll be in full bloom by mid-May to late May, whereas other lilacs are already in full bloom. And if you can see, let me get up on the deck. I have a triple view of the Korean lilac in the foreground, the wisteria midway, and the apple tree in the back. And the blooming of the apple tree was bright white, a bazillion blossoms, lots of bees this year, thank goodness. And then the wisteria is next to bloom, and last will be the lilac. And it's just a wonderful trio of umbrella type plants that I love. And here is Cecile Bruner climbing rose, which has pale pink blossoms, blooms for almost a month steadily, and then that's it. It's a once-a-year bloomer, but I love it on the archway. And lots more columbine. And this is Tim's plant, a gift from the local art group when Timmy passed away. I'm getting my shadow on there. It's a yellow, oh dear, here we go again. I want to say yellow alder, and that's not right. You can't, elderberry, a yellow elderberry, but this is not an edible berry. It does put out little tiny berries, but they are toxic to humans. However, I don't have to worry about any of that. But it's so pretty, and it just keeps going and going. Even though it's in the pot, the roots have now made it down into the ground, so I think it's there for forever, which is wonderful. And footprints of our grandkids when they were little. That's about it for now. There'll be lots more blooming later. Hope you've enjoyed a little bit of the spring backyard. The roses will be coming on soon, and other stuff. Have a good day.